Mr. President, I'm sure that from the moment that your plane landed in the airport of London, you felt, and as you went through Jerusalem, wherever you met people, the many that turned out to meet you, little children, mothers with babies on their arms, old people, people that were born in this country, second, third, fifth generations, those that have recently come, all together in unison were overjoyed to see you in our land. When asked many years ago, when do I think peace will come to this region, to our country and our neighboring countries, I said, the date I do not know. But I know under what conditions it will come. When there will be a leader, a great leader of an Arab country. He will come and say, or he will wake up one morning and feel sorry for his own people, for his own sons that have fallen in battle. That day will be the beginning of peace between us and them. Mr. President, we have a saying in Hebrew, and I don't know the exact translation into English, Zchut Rishonim, the privilege of being the first. And I congratulate you, Mr. President, that you have this privilege of being the first great Arab leader of the greatest country of our neighboring countries, that with courage and determination, despite many difficulties, I am sure, have come to us and bring us the message that for the sake of your sons, as well as for the sake of ours, of all mothers who mourn their sons that fall in battle, no mother gives birth to a son with the fear that he may fall in battle. For the sake of all our sons and all our children, not only that are alive today, that may be born in future generations, you have come to us and said, let us have peace. Let us, the last war of 73, be the last war between us. You have come to tell us that from now on, you are prepared to live in peace with us. As far as we are concerned, I assure you, Mr. President, never has the desire of peace and the hope for peace and the dream for peace left the heart of any one of us. We've come back to this country to live in peace. We've come back to this country to live. We've come back to this country to create. In this room, you will see people who have for the first time climbed the hills and planted trees. For the first time, they have gone down to the desert, which was considered a desert, which was considered a God-forsaken country, and have made it green. And now children live there, and children play there. All over the country, for many of them, very many of them, they enjoyed the privilege of being the first ones after centuries upon centuries to bring life to the desert and to the swamps and to the hills of this country. All this we have done for peace, to live in peace, to live, but to live in peace. Mr. President, we listened to you last night, and we heard your appeal for peace. When I was in office, and I'm sure everyone that was before me and after me, hoped for the day when we'll be able to meet with the leader of one of the Arab countries and have a discussion with him. We never thought that at the first meeting we will come with pens ready to sign a peace treaty. But the hope was the discussions and the differences that we have between us, we will discuss face to face and not through intermediaries. No matter how well the intermediaries reported to you and to us, still it's not the same. When you sit here and I look at you and I heard you last night, it is not the same. And of course, we all must realize that the path to peace may be a little bit difficult, but not as difficult as the path to war. And what Israel wants, what this group that you're meeting with today, from the very beginning, after the war of '67, this group immediately adopted a program of territorial compromises. As a matter of fact, Israel has made compromises and accepted them since '47. I can say in all sincerity and absolute truth, never did we have desire for additional territories. We were prepared to live in the boundaries that we had. We will not go into history today. But what we want to say is that we were and are prepared for territorial compromises on all our borders. Only on one condition: borders that will give us security, that will save us from danger, borders that we will not be in need, God forbid, at a certain moment for somebody else to come to defend us. We never wanted it. Nobody ever came to defend us. The blood that was shed to our sorrow was our blood. And we don't want to shed any more blood of others. Here sits Mr. Rabin. After the war of '67, he was given the award of the University of Jerusalem. And he then said in his speech, he was then chief of staff, and he said, here is the Israel army that came back victorious. It came back a sad army, despite the victory. Sad because of our men that fell, but also sad because our sons were compelled to shoot. It's these two things we do not want. We do not want to be shot at, and believe me, we do not want to shoot. Therefore, we want borders where, when we sign peace treaties, every Israeli will be assured that he lives in borders not because there are international guarantees. I don't think we need them when we have peace. Neither we nor you. But we need borders that we know that if, God forbid, something happens in the future, we ourselves are able to defend ourselves. Therefore, territorial compromises, yes, from the very beginning until this moment, but not compromises on our security. Each country, each people decides what is secure for itself. But when we say compromises territorially, then it is essential that we also say this. Now, one more thing. We are the sorrow of others. Therefore, we never said, nor do we want, that Palestinians should remain as they are, in camps, in misery, dependent upon others. No. We don't want to be dependent upon others. We don't want them to be dependent upon others. If it had been within our power, our will was there should never be a problem of this kind. Therefore, of course we realize there are Palestinians. We believe there is a solution which is good for them and safe for us. Therefore, there is no connection between our unreadiness for another state between us and Jordan, a Palestinian state, small, not viable probably, may be forced to expansion. There's no connection between this our opposition to this because of our security. Mr. President, if we should agree to that, then there are 10 miles between the sea and between the borders of that state. You cannot expect us to feel sure within our borders of that kind. So the solution of Palestinians, yes. And we believe in the program of this group that you meet here, there is a solution. And we said in this program before elections, and we say it now, in our peace treaties with Jordan, there must be a solution for the Palestinians. So these camps are wiped out and will be a thing of the past, but not at the expense of the security of Israel. If there were no solution, it would be a terrible problem for us. But there is a solution for this problem. And therefore, we say to you, Mr. President, you have come here. We didn't agree to everything you said just last night. You're not surprised. But your call for peace, and I believe in your sincere desire for peace, as I hope that you believe with a sincere desire on our part for peace, then let us go on. We will not agree this morning. If you will agree, fine. I don't believe you will agree this morning. Therefore, let us at least conclude one thing. The beginning that you have made with such courage and with such hope for peace, let us decide one thing. It must go on, face to face, between us and between you, so that even an old lady like I am will live to see the day.
I've always said this.
You always call me an old lady, Mr. President.
She's not as old as that.
We will live to see the day. Whoever signs on the part of Israel, I want to live to see that day of peace between you and us, of peace between all our neighbors and us. And Mr. President, as a grandmother to a grandfather, may I give you a little present for their new granddaughter. Thank you for your present that you have given me.
Marvelous.